Today we're going to talk about a few really important concepts in Java. These concepts are called objects and classes. As you may or may not know, Java is an object-oriented language, and we live in an object-oriented world. In the real world, you look around and we're surrounded by objects. There's trees, flowers, houses, and dogs. But let's focus on this dog for a second. Each type of object has specific characteristics and actions it can perform. For example, this dog can bark, it can wag its tail, and say its name is Max, and its age is 4. A class is like a general blueprint from which individual objects can be created. Classes have variables and methods. In the previous dog example, the variables might be name and age, and the object might have name assigned to Max and age assigned to 4. Because an object is a specific instance of a class, they're very closely related. The class methods might have been wagtail and bark. I think to understand these concepts better, we can use an example that we all know very well. Boba! The variables that we'll use in this example will be type, toppings, and sweetness level, while the action that we'll have, or the method, will be, of course, to drink the boba. Now let's actually start writing some code. Make sure you put all the variables at the beginning of the class and make them public so that you can access them from other classes. First, we're going to make a default constructor, which isn't completely necessary, but always good to have. And then all classes must have a constructor. In this class, we're going to take in the string type as the argument for the constructor. The this.type refers to the type variable, and setting it equals to type sets the variable equal to the argument that we just brought in. This constructor is necessary, and we're going to use it when we create an actual boba object. This class will have to have methods such as setTopping, which will set the topping variable to the argument that we just brought in. The void refers to the return type, which means this method is not going to return anything. We can do a very similar method for the sweetness level, and set the sweetness level to the argument that we bring in. As you may notice, this argument is an int type rather than a string type, because sweetness will be represented by a number instead of by a word. We can also have a method called getTopping, which will return the topping. As you can see, the void has been replaced by string, because we'll be returning a string instead of nothing. We can have a very similar method for getSweetness as well, which will just return an int rather than a string. Lastly, let's have a method called drinkBoba. This one won't return anything, which is why there's a void there, but instead we'll just print out yum. So let's keep track of everything we know about the boba class on the side. We have the constructor, which takes in the type as its argument. We have the get and set topping methods, the get and set sweetness methods, and we have the drink boba method, of course. So now let's use a main method to create an actual boba object, which we can call myBoba, and we can make it Taro. We can set the toppings to be boba and set the sweetness to be 50. When we print these out and call the drink boba method, the console will read boba 50 and yum. So let's go over what we've learned so far. As we said before, classes are a general blueprint. They include all the bobas. They're going to have variables, they always have to have a constructor, and they'll have methods. An object is a specific instance of the class. So the class would include all boba in general, while the object would be myBoba. I hope we use our mutual love of boba to understand the concepts of classes and objects. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go get myself some boba. Thanks for watching!